Hello and welcome to Gameplay, and today we will review the game that raised $8.7 million on Kickstarter. That is Exploding Kittens, the game about explosions and kittens. Now there's a lot to like about Exploding Kittens. It's a game which is pretty fluid in its mechanics and plays around the idea of an exploding kitten and avoiding that by using defuse cards. There's a whole bunch of other cards that all have separate features that allow you to get more cards, less cards, or allow you to drop cards, force other players to miss turns, etc, etc. All we've seen before, and to be fair, a lot of this has been monopolised from this game's success. However, this version of the game, the original edition, is quite muted in the terms that it doesn't have the excess of some of the later games like the NSFW version, and that allows the game to be a little bit more fun. But, and here's a serious but, the problem with the game is very clear. It doesn't allow new players an easy in compared to old players. It has a dynamic that if you've played it before, you have an upper hand. Other games, usually, if you haven't played it before, it is easier to understand or at least play, whereas new players will find it far harder to get established. This said, the game is still relatively fun for new and old alike. That's new players and old players. For young and old dynamics, I would argue that the younger the player, the more fun they get. Also, the larger the group, the more fun they will get. At least that's how we felt. What is seriously needed to be remembered at this point is the game is actually a party game. It doesn't really play well with 1, 2 or 3 players. And by that I mean if you've got one person plus another, so that's 1, one person plus 2 others, that's 2, and one person plus 3 others, that's 3, so 4 players in total. It plays well in larger groups, and we found the restraint because of playing it in a 4-team group and then playing it in a 5-team and 6-team group, where you felt that it was a lot more fun, and at the end you weren't sort of forced into, well, basically you've got 3 cards and 3 players, and whoever pulls one of those cards is going to have an exploding kitten and not be able to defuse it. And that's the weakness of the game, and seriously one that we've wondered why people didn't highlight it before. We should also note about the artwork, which is both exemplary and completely erratic. It's absurd and abstract, funny and slightly strange, but that all adds into the mystique of Exploding Kittens. Where the problem is, however, is that it doesn't bode well for the comic effect long term. So just like the game, it's not a game that will last forever, more like a couple of rounds.